Okay, good morning. Good morning and welcome to Mom Knows featuring me, Monica Mojustice. Okay. I don't got too many things to check this morning because I came to you through StreamYard. Just taking advantage of my free programming. Cause I don't like StreamYard. But I can't figure it out. No, I'm still working on my OBS set. Shout out to me. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that one with me. I appreciate it. Okay. So, all right. I didn't hear it the last time anyway. All right. All right. If you don't know, you're going to know now. I am an early riser. I do a lot of things from the hours of like 3 a.m. on to. I am an early go to bedder, which means by 8, 9 o'clock, whenever I see the bed and I hit it, even if I hit the couch, I'm done. I'm out for the count. I miss out on everything. So I got to watch some replays on some things to see what was discussed because I need to do that. But I wanted to share with you my thoughts on what I saw yesterday in the YSL trial. Just doing another Mo Day morning quarterbacking on the testimony that was presented. I'll spend all but 1 second on the music expert. Girl, bye. I don't even know what her name is. I don't even know what her name is. But she was feisty and just laid back rude. That's all I could say about it. It's just rude. Um but I'm gonna give you both sides of the fence, right? From a prosecutorial perspective, right? She's working on a case and she deeply believes that it's a situation where there are individuals who are making music that their music is in furtherance of the conspiracy. So Underwood. So good morning. Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point, right? Because she got qualified as an expert, and then all you hear her testify is, "I'm not an expert, but I'm not an expert." So, lady, be quiet. What are you doing? You were born here. Your one of your purposes, right, was to come here and to regurgitate the stuff that they believed they could get out of Dennis, right? What she should have did was contact Dennis down there in St. Louis, right, wherever he was at, and find out what he was gonna be testifying to. Good morning, Jamie. That's what one should have did when all of this started. But nevertheless, um, I don't find any value added with her, and I think that her own personal attitude, body language was very telling. Um, and I'm trying to see what I'm trying to give these commentaries on what I think the value added she had for the prosecution. And all I can say is that she conducted an investigation and she believed that there's more to it, and she tried to make connections that, let me tell you something. If you want a story to end a certain way, you will look for evidence that will support the story that you have, right? Good morning, Carenza. And at the end of the day, she wanted that story to make sense, because this is what she's been working on, or this is what the team has been working on. And we all know what happens when people are in teams, right? They are less likely to speak out if they have a differing opinion. I think her work statements was that she had just come back from seeing she just came back from who was it? Was it a whose concert was it? Wait a minute. It's my confessions. I know who it was. She just came from a concert. Girl, buy some more. Key point, Shard, when he cross-examined her and he asked, yeah, she came from Usher. It's my confessions. When she, key point for me, and one of the, we always look at how the defense is building reasonable doubt in her case. He built reasonable doubt by saying to her, so Little Woo D put out a video wherein him and Threat, who got eliminated, or he came to his untimely demise in the middle of this case, as this case was live. As soon as Woody took the stand, what's up, Eric? I said Eric, but JJ. I'm thinking about pause. I'm thinking about Eric because I see him in duress, so I have to reach out to him. So I want you guys to stay encouraged. Stay encouraged, but that's from my other life. But moving on. Crazy. It's just crazy. So he's like, listen, so y'all checking for all this music out here, all this music that's indicating what happened in previous situations, and you got Woody out here with a whole video with him and Threat up here executing some big fat dude, which has got more of a collation than just having the car. Now, I'm going to tell you, I went back and I listened to the videos, the music videos that was shown of Young Thug, and let's just talk about what we saw, right? We didn't see videos that were depict violence in what they showed. So it's weird that they tried to tell us, and these are people that's supposed to be down with the lingo of today. They couldn't tell us that there was subliminals inside of the music. Instead, she was like, well, they may put one sentence in there and it doesn't mean, but it's sending a message. A lady, that's called subliminals. He was supposed to be throwing subliminals, but you know why you couldn't say he was throwing subliminals? Because you couldn't even get it out your mouth. Oh, I forget I'm in StreamYard, so I get to do this. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, I just couldn't with her. Oh, shout out to ABT, right? I'm personally, I was gonna speak to y'all this morning about the flip side of what I'm seeing from the defendant legal representation. That's why I thought Shard did a great job. Shard is not out here doing interviews 24/7 trying to make a YouTube channel while simultaneously trying to do other things. But ABT, right? I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I know how to spell it. He did an excellent job in his cross-examination of the detective. He did an excellent job in his cross-examination of the detective. But what I want people on this social media to understand, he's also their defense, right? And I'm talking about Doug and his firm specifically, but not this guy, the guy that we saw doing a cross-examination, Thug, right? Doug Weinstein. He wants people to read this book, whatever it's called, the Rapology. I don't know what the name of the book is. You know why? Because I'm a book person and I read things that connect to my spirit. And yesterday I asked somebody to send me the cover because it's not in my local, it was not in the library that I went to over the weekend. I went to 2 libraries, but I wasn't expecting it to be there anyway, because I didn't go to libraries that cover our demographic. All right, so I wasn't extremely disappointed on that front, but I was when I went into Barnes and Nobles and it wasn't available, and I started to ask myself, hey, so could this possibly be a book that is from could this possibly be a book that somebody self-wrote? So when they sent me the cover, they said that the dedication page or the forward or something came from Killer Mike. Now, if you know Mo, I ain't down with music that don't come out of New York, right? So I don't know too much about people's origins and everything else, right? But Killer Mike comes from Atlanta. So maybe Atlanta has an Atlanta specific issue that their music is put on trial and they got these issues stemming from out of their music. Because I remember T.I. was always locked up and doing something or whatever. Him from down there. He got kids, and the other guy, Boosie, he from down there. Their kids are linked up and getting themselves in all kind of trouble right now in 2024, and they know which direction they going in. Lyrics and all, gang banging, whatever. And they're not gang banging from the perspective of how this trial is being laid out, but they gang banging from a perspective of, I want to be down. I'm hardcore, but I came from a tree lined street. Actually, they came from mansions and millions, But I'm like you, who's out there on the curb, eh, not the same type of energy. So, anywho, boo, 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 boo. So I then fell back. I don't think I want to read it because I don't want to hear. There's a lot. Let me tell you about Georgia if you don't know. A, a lot of things that are going on in our current atmosphere, in the current day, are surrounded by the activities that come out of Georgia. Now, it's true, a lot of New Yorkers ran down there, probably infiltrated y'all neighborhoods and made the thing a hot mess. Hey, Sam, but at the end of the day, a lot of things are being a lot of things that occur down there are shaping the way people think and see our current situations today. Hey, good morning. Doug pushing that book just sent volumes to me, and then listening to the argument that they made, it was stemmed out of stuff I hear coming out of day to day social media aspects. The people that are before you listening to the trial and having to make the decision, they're not the social media people. You need to really make it make sense if you want people to believe that the music was targeted, that they didn't chase the music. They as they alleged that they was putting together a case and then the music just popped up in their lap. If you want to be like, they chased the music and the music brought them to the cases. I don't really think that was the case here. And what I did take away from the officer that was testifying, or former officer that was testifying, is that by glorifying, and I'm not going to say however many shots in a Tahoe really aligns with what happened in that situation. But I can hear an argument if it was really put together with a beginning, middle, and an end, that making music and putting out lyrics that support what people have done illegally would put you in a bad situation, would have you sitting on this side of the fence. Only because Tick and others testify that they knew the lyric was related to something they did. Tick will rob your sister or whatever he said, right? Tick out there robbing girls. That's what he was doing. Now, maybe Thug, in his way of adding it to the music, was shaming them into better behavior because he was trying to lift up. He didn't, what we've seen and what's been evident so far is that he didn't rise to the top and then forget everybody that was at the bottom with him. He tried to take them with him. What we're seeing right now and how they're testifying, they all know that they went the wrong path. Now, I want to turn my last 15 minutes of this discussion over to what I think is more serious to me, and it relates to me, was the young lady who was on the stand at the end, Mariah Smith. Now, why am I saying her name? Because one, she said her name in the middle of the testimony. She's like Mariah. Like, if she wasn't enough ghetto for me, but I had to love her. I fell in love with her instantaneously because I understood what happened to her and I understood her story as best she told it. One, she's 23 years old and she sounds like a 12-year-old telling you a story. Unable to sequence and tell you events in sequential order. You can see that there are some kind of issues. There are some kind of issues there, but from a woman to woman from a woman to woman position, I really related to her and probably find her to be one of the most relatable young women that has been on this case so far. So let's discuss what she said, and hopefully I could shed some light on why she might be there. First and foremost, she's definitely a victim in here. And when they was going to the basketball court, she was about to be up out of here like the guy inside of the car. Period. That's the bottom line. And the reason that you know that that's supported is because she said they shot up her parents, they shot up her mother's home, and they had targeted her sister. So anybody, this is snitching come real, right? It's not snitching when you're not a co-participant in the conspiracy. Because see, what they're showing you with that particular incident is that it was a conspiracy. But not all participants in a conspiracy are willing participants. Did I believe her story 100%? That's a negative. Because she did it. Because she did it. Okay. Let's evaluate what she said. She said that she went to work. So she had a job. She came home from work. So one thing that you always have as a young person, you have that young person that's dedicated, and then you got other people that ain't got nothing going for them. She had a house with a mama. She had her friend Tahira staying with her. Her mama was like, Tahira needs to go. She comes home from work. Imagine this. You don't let in your daughter's squandering friend, and your daughter's out at work, and this girl's laying up inside your house. on the phone. Let's just put it on what the language needs to be put on. Setting up licks, because this was a lick. This is a true example of one. Good morning. So little Miss Mariah on fire. Little Miss Mariah comes, gets home, goes, takes a shower, gets all dressed, goes down the stairs. Her mom is in and out of REM. If you don't know what REM is, it's sleep, right? Her mom said, "Where you going? Girl, what you doing?" She like, "Oh, I'm gonna go hang out with her." And she like, "Yo, this why this little girl, she gotta get out of my house." You know, I know what that conversation might have been like on that day. So anyway, because people were saying that the mom stepped out. I don't necessarily think the mom stepped out, because the testimony was that her mom was asleep. Everybody in the house was asleep when she got home from work. So I'm thinking, she said her mom was downstairs in the thing, which probably, like a mom, you sitting there waiting for your child who's working at Mickey D's to come home from work. I do it. Anyway, long story short, and my little added twist to it, but this is how I interpret it. You can interpret her story your way, and I'm going to do it my way. So she goes ahead, and when mom is in and out, because she said mom was in and out, she got out the house with little Miss Susie face. And that's what they did. And they went over there to Blaylock's house. Now, Blaylock, and the person who picked them up was Little Rod. So Little Rod drove over there. The girl worked the 3 to 11. Who knows? She probably got home, let's say 11:30, 12. She took a shower. She was ready to go 12:30, 1 o'clock. They snuck out the house, or they left out the house. No matter what, they was out the house. I'd have to look at the police report to see when this actual shooting took place, but that's why they had the 911 operator thing there. I didn't hear her testimony. I was in a meeting. So I'm going to have to go back to see when the 911 came in. But in any event, yeah, I guess I'm one of them strict parents too, but I didn't have like little, I didn't have that issue where you have the bad influence friend who's already homeless staying at your home. Okay, so they get over there to Blaylock's house. Boo, 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 boo. And they over in Blaylock's house. And she falling asleep and this and that. I already got my visions of what was going over in Blaylock's house, right? These kids in that generation, I'm calling them the GTA teens, right? They was probably doing stuff, illegal stuff, or whatever, smoking. They was up in there higher than a kite. You could be a strict parent. Where the parent went wrong is she took in Tahira. And Tahira was already thrown out and put on the streets by her own family. And then you got her in your house with your child. And there's some resemblance that the mother did have some kind of, at least this is how I interpret it. Maybe it's because I'm a mom and I'm seeing it from a mom's perspective, trying to help out somebody some hoochie. And then you see your child about to go down the wrong path. The girl said her mother on the stand, she said her mother told her not to leave the house, but being grown, she did it anyway. So she is also accepting responsibility for, what happened to her. Because had she been obedient, this would have never happened. This may not have happened in this way. Anywho, she gets to the so Little Rod picks them up. They get to the guy's house, Blaylock, right? She's in and out of a sleep over there, right? She could have slept at her own house, right? She hears something, and this is what I don't believe. This is the part of the story I don't believe. She says she hears a girl on the phone, but she can't really talk about what that is, because what that person says, because that would be considered hearsay in the courtroom. But whatever it is, they have to leave. And the reason you know that is something serious is because she said Blaylock beat her up. That already sounds like somebody being forced to do something. She goes outside, miraculously. The dude's car is there. Why is the dude's car there from out of nowhere? Okay, so now she's speaking to the dude. I don't forgot his name. But anyway, she's speaking to him, and he says, "Yo, hop inside the car. We're gonna go get some weed." Now, I don't know how that goes out, because now she says she was the only one talking to him at the car. But here come Mariah gets in the car, and here comes Tahira. And she up in the car too. So now Mariah's in the middle. What's name's over there? We only have one person so far. We don't know who else they're gonna call. This is why the witness list is important. But see, Tahira gotta be a witness. It gotta be she's definitely. This is a conspiracy. This is a true conspiracy where people, by agreement, they agree to do a crime, and the crime sounds like, right, they was going to ambush these people, because they are the ones all going to get the weed. In order to go get the weed, what you got to have? You got to have the money. Little Miss Mariah, she's working. She got to have some money. The dude pulled up in the car. He's working. It all depends on how they connect Little Rod to the rest of the people there. Thug has already connected himself to these people through his music lyrics, through his association with being in pictures with them, and so on and so forth. Those are the little connections that they need. Now, we want to think that there needs to be more of a tangible necessity for it. Not necessarily. It's a conspiracy. The conspiracy, again, is when people come together to do a crime. And the part that Thug is getting accused for is that he's singing about the crimes that they're doing, which is, what is that word that they told Montauk? Glorifying it. In any event, poor little Miss Mariah, she's in the car now, and Tahira gets out to go to the spot. Now, according to Mariah, she's sitting in the car, and Tahira runs back to the car, pulls her out the car, and they start running. She says, pulls her out the car, and she says the minute she got out the car, shots started firing. And they ran through the breezeway by the trees. What I did not appreciate was that they put up an exhibit that already had the path outlined on there. They couldn't get new exhibits and have her draw a line to where it is or whatever it was. So again, they still are subliminally screwing over their own witnesses by taking them and forcing them. Like, this is a reminder of what you previously said. Why do they need to give her a reminder? I think because she needs she wasn't able to connect stuff. What did I say? Sequencing. I could tell by her testimony she wasn't even able to sequence things. And then when she went off in that little tirade that she did, when she was like, boom, and this and that and that, boom, da 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 da, boom, lets you know that she has the problem retelling something. doesn't necessarily mean that she's lying. Just people are not able to tell stories. Does a guilty verdict in this case have to be beyond a reasonable doubt? Yes, in all criminal cases it does. If so, I can't see a conviction at this point. Just because you can't see a conviction at this point before the state has rested their case is not unusual. You understand? Because you haven't heard all the information. So as a juror, right, your mind is supposed to still be free and clear and open-minded. So you should not be seeing a conviction. At this point, you should be seeing all the men as innocent until proven guilty. The question with this little Rod situation is that I believe before they brought in his story of what he did to get him in trouble in the first place, they should have put together a story to tell us how he was connected to all the defendants in the room. See, personally, Little Rod could sit on the trial with Blaylock and company because they were in that conspiracy together. But when you have him sitting on the trial with Shannon Stillwell, Nicholas, Thug, I don't know, because Huey, he might have knew Huey because they was in the same line of business, robbing people. But at least if they would have tried, Little Rod don't belong there. That's basically what I'm saying. Because even when the other guys testified, right, and they first got up there, they asked questions. Like Tick was like, "Yeah, little man over there." Like they looking at him like, "Yeah, little man over there." Everybody knows him. But here's one key thing that I want people to remember: Little Rod. You know how Mariah's mama took in Tahira? Little Rod had already been a missing kid. You know, even though I know his family is active today, and you see his father has done interviews and everything else, where were y'all when your kids were in the street? What was you doing then, sir? Ma'am? Where were you at those moments? So that's the crazy part for me when I'm looking at the Little Rod being there. So they should have made more of a connection why Little Rod is down with YSL with the people that they have there. At least, all right. Have a safe journey, my love. All right, love you. Okay. Okay. I just like to hear my child get out the door. So they should have showed more of a connection. A Little Rod got here with the people that are on trial right now. How he was connected to them. We know that Yak, Thug, and somebody else were all making music. We also know that they're in the same age group and they were all hanging out. That's the sad part about this long trial. A long trial like this doesn't help the prosecution because normally jurors come back with a not guilty verdict. This is the same thing that happened to O.J. Simpson's trial, right? They beyond, let me not say this the same things that happened to O.J. Simpson, because I watched that trial and I believe that they planted evidence. based on what I saw in the based on what I saw during the trial. Now, people could think differently, and it has the reason why I refer back to O.J. Simpson, because it has the same type of veracity here, right? Here you have a case that you can absolutely win on the merit of the information if you just stick to the information. But what had happened there is that they wanted to put everything in, right? You don't always need every minute detail in order to win your case. You just need the bare necessities. And what happens with this trial right now is that it's overkill. It's just overkill. And that's going to hurt them in the long run. But I don't think, but I could be wrong. I think when the state rests their case, I think they're going to have a hectified issue trying to prove to people that they're gonna have a hard time connecting all the overt acts and the items that the counts that need to be inside the case. And see, they're trying to throw in all the overt acts in a case with people that it ain't got nothing to do with.
Grace and peace. Good morning. How are you, friend?
You know you only have 8:30. You got to be there.
Look, you're gonna stay on this phone, talk to me all day. We're doing a show. It's a show now. Yeah,
no,
dear woke Mo show. The Mo, dear woke, woke with Mo.
What's up? What are you thinking?
So this is a thought process. So just think about a football game. Just think about a football game. Your football team has a wonderful, fantastic running game. Every time they get the ball, they get 8, 9 yards, first downs all the time. They're slowly just inching their way down the field. They get points every time. They get points pretty much all the time, but they just keep inching. But they don't do anything grandiose. They don't do anything that's sexy. They don't do anything that's like, oh, highlight reels. They're just meticulous and just keep plodding away. They know that everybody knows their role and everybody does their thing. They play against a team that's all about highlights. That's all about the big plays. It's all about the 95-yard passes and craziness like that. But they don't actually score. They do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of activity. But at the end of the day, they don't actually make any progress because they're trying to do all this grandiose stuff. And I think that's what the point is that you're making here, is that in a short game, in a winnable case, because I think we all agree the case could have been winnable if they had just taken their time not taking their time, went for the small victories. Okay, we got Ryan off the board. We got Huey put in jail. We got this person, this, that, and other. They could have won, but they're going for these big, long, again, 95-yard touchbacks, and it's not going to happen. And what's going to end up happening when the clock runs out, they're going to realize that they've scored no points. Or maybe they only got the same people are in jail that should have been in jail. Lil Rod is going to be in jail. And I think that's what we're seeing with the state here, is that don't realize they could have won if they just stuck with what was winnable. That's my little thought. What do you got?
Yeah. But they do have, so remember, count 1 is the RICO.
That's correct.
And they got to prove that, right? Mm-hmm. How they wrote this up was gang symbols, wearing a certain color, is in furtherance, right? And saying some words and doing some things, right? This is in furtherance of the gang, right? The gang. But they have to show how that's in furtherance of the gang. So what they are showing, I think they are meeting that. they're meeting that level, right? Because you got certain people come on, they're gonna have Arnold come on, right? And what they want from Arnold is what? That he was doing gang movements, he was part of a gang, right? And I keep saying Arnold's critical because he opens up the hybrid link. Because the gang that he admits to in his plea deal is not YSL.
Correct.
So he's only buying into the hybrid, but doesn't mean that they won't get him on test. They won't get a bite at him to say that he was part of YSL because he's also part of the label.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when he starts to talk about the label component of it, he's because they keep saying YSL, they really need to distinguish between YSL, not just saying YSL the label, Young Stoner Life LLC versus you know whatever the other Young Slime Life, like
Young
whatever
Summer.
it is,
Right.
he really needs to focus on what his LLC is and start to get that in the mind of the jurors so that they can start to make a distinction between the gang members. Everyone has grown up and known people in your childhood that are not in your adulthood with you.
Yeah.
Right? You understand? That's
For
what
sure.
these people are. That's what these people are at this point. Like these are the people from your childhood
Mm-hmm.
that you just, for whatever reason, how could you leave a Montauk behind? The whole world right now wants to free him, including myself, right?
Yeah.
But you understand? So if he has that affection on us, what do you think he had on a thug for you? Like, if you wanted to be like, yo, this is the guy that bought me shoes and helped me, bought my tapes and, helped me rock out, supported me when I was nothing. I can't turn my back on him. That's why you see Montauk kept the
Good
attorney who
attorney. Yep.
mean him any good. You understand, but he can't turn his back on him, right? These are loyalties that are thick. And that's going to bring me back to our little dude right here, little Rod, right?
Lil Rod.
With his not running away or being, I don't know what, I need to go back and see what the footage was. Was he kidnapped when he was a kid or what it was? Because that's how he got jumped into anything and
Yeah, I don't.
everything.
Yeah, I don't fully. I'm not trying to get into in my opinion, having everybody. The RICO is the problem. The RICO is the 50-yard pass. The RICO is this grandiose highlight reel dunk from the half court line type of scenario. In my opinion, that's why they're going to fail, is because I don't know if they're going to be able to pull that off. But they could have done, again, just a couple free throws here, a three-pointer here, some fundamental basketball. They could have won the game, but they're going to end up losing it because they're over trying to do a half court dunk 360, which is just doesn't make sense. Now, the reason I say that is because Lil Rod, like, come on, man, that one is, in my opinion, was very easy. Go ahead and just put him where he needs to be. Huey, go and put him where he needs to be. But the fact that you're trying to lump everybody together is problematic on a lot of different fronts. Because again, everybody talking about, well, yeah, if there was a gang war, where's the other gang? And the such of that nature. There's a lot of problems that have come up because you've stuck to this and you've held so tightly to this RICO argument that I think is now working against you, in my opinion.
So I think their strategy initially was bringing in Underwood to talk about the other gang, right? She was supposed to come in there and talk about the other gang. And what happened to Underwood is that she ended up having to fill in for Dennis, which is annoying because it is annoying because they should have kept to their plan, right? This is not the thing that you change mid scope. You understand? You lost Dennis, right? That's your own fault. You've chosen to bring people on 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times through your case because you, and this is to your credit right here, right? You, dear
Me?
old Christian. Yeah, they don't have their storyline, but they believe that as they was presenting their case, right? This is why they keep bringing back the 911 operator. She introduces you to the call that you're about to hear all the incidents that came out of it, right? That was their strategy. I don't even know if we needed Little Rod's story, his GTA adventure.
Because it doesn't need to be there.
But they couldn't. So here's the problem. You know what we're missing in this trial? We're missing something called stipulations. Remember yesterday when we were watching Sarah Boom?
Yeah.
The things that are obvious. The man was alive and died, right? They stipulated to he was a live person, right? So there was no need to bring on his family member to tell you that
He was
you understand
alive. His
that he
mom
was
talking about, I
a live
birthed him.
person.
I was in labor for 97 hours. You're right. You're
So
right.
there
There
was
have been no stipulation. I love that.
right. So they won't stipulate in this situation, right? They can't stipulate to Little Rod was convicted, because right now he's a convicted felon. And the part that they're trying to link to him right now is that he was part of a conspiracy. Now, if they show me a song where Thug um like made a big deal out of this Little Rod situation and glorified it and made a song to it, right? I would
Shout out to
say
little
that's in furtherance of what happened there, right? But they didn't show us that.
Free Lil Rod. No, I got you. That's a good catch.
I don't know. After I heard what I heard yesterday, I was like, eh.
No, I'm saying like if Thug had done a song, Free Lil Rod, then that would have been a different game. But
No, because we're running around here saying free Monk Tunk, and we know that
wait,
he was involved in stuff, right? So
right. But I'm
we're
saying,
not.
no, I'm trying to say you don't see a relationship between Thug and Rod. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't see Thug saying anything about Little Rod, aka Free Little Rod, or Rod is my homie, anything like that. Now, yes, we want Monk Tongue because we think Monk Tongue got a shaft of a deal in this regard, but nobody's ignoring the fact that he was a scoundrel before. I mean, nobody's saying like he did. Oh no, he was a choir boy. He never did anything wrong. Nobody's saying that. They are saying, however, the reason that he's in jail right now is nasty work, and that's what most people are saying. But
Why footprints, Corenza? Where you get?
I think
I'm
they're
linking them to murders. Where's the DNA from the scene?
I think they're being extra, but I might be wrong.
Well, we're also talking about a period of time when DNA and stuff was captured differently. You understand? They already kind of led us to believe that when you hear them ask some of the crime scene technicians, how did they collect the materials, right? What you didn't see is a crime scene technician identifying the packaging that they collected. Normally you put them on a stand, they testify, and then you get to see the like what they show you the envelope that they made.
It's
You
funny
understand?
because in Sarah Boone, they did that. Remember, she has the phone, the tech is there, and she has the envelope with the phone in it. And she literally opens it up on the stand, like pulls the phone out or whatever to answer, to give you that example.
Yeah, all we're seeing is video. We're seeing either pictures of what they had on the ground, where the casings were, but we're not seeing any evidence to show, especially with the ones that they said. And I'm listening to people testify. There was a man a couple of days ago. He was like, when they start talking about what they usually do. Well, that means you ain't do it in this case. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm sitting here, like right. I was like, wait, when he didn't say I put it in there, and they started to say, well, I usually put it in. Generally, we would do that. Look, we would. No,
Yes,
what did you do here?
What did
You
you
you,
do
you
here?
understand?
Right.
You understand? You can't remember what you did here. Did you group them all up? Like, and Love had a hard time when she was talking to the folks to try to get them to finalize what they did. But there's always going to be more to this. I just didn't want people looking at the young lady yesterday. Um, I think she played a role. I wonder what I'm sure this testimony is part of a plea. She's worked up in this crap for the rest of her life. You understand? Like, she's gonna have to testify for the next trial. They're about to impeach her on inconsistencies, right?
Yep.
We've learned those words from the DA when they impeach their own witnesses. We're about to
Which
hear
is
about her.
nasty work. That's
Well,
crazy.
not necessarily in this
You-
case. We're dealing with a community, right? Who does not snitch.
Okay,
So when these people get up here, everybody, they don't want to snitch.
Monica, Monica,
They're
you
snitching.
are you are going to be giving a big speech to the National Monica Fan Club Association on Saturday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm your friend. I live next door. I'm a speech expert. I've given TED Talks and presidential speeches. I've written all kinds of speeches like that. And you say, Jason, I'm going to be giving a speech to the National Monica Fan Club Association this weekend. What should I do? And I sit down with you and I go over all the fine details of how you can memorize your speech and give inflection and connect with the audience, all that kind of stuff like that. And you go to this weekend and you knock that speech out the park. It is amazing. People are railing you and just loving. We love Monica even more than we loved her before. Well, first of all, does that make sense? Does that make sense what I just gave example?
That you would seek expert advice.
Or at
Mm-hmm.
least prepare your person. It would be really, and you know that you're going to give this speech and you're going to be all eyes on Monica and you're just going to write it while you in the Uber on the way over there. You're not going to plan. I'm sorry. There's no way. I'm trying not to be crass about it, but these women act like they sat on the toilet and wrote these doggone speeches. Like, what the devil are you doing? Why are you not concerned about presenting yourself in a way that is compelling, in a way that is entreating and draws people in to be like, man, you know what? I thought Thug was innocent, but Monica convinced me. Yes, let's get that rascal. Why not? You would know. I'm sorry. You know what? I need to jump over to my own show and rant about this. But
Can
for
I
the
just say
love,
this one thing to you? Do you think D. Williams was ready yesterday, or
nope.
yeah, that I
I
don't
love
think
her.
I don't think that she wasn't ready. I think that she was ready, but I think that she also thought when we get to 5:30 in the evening, I'm going tomorrow. Like, you understand? So I'll just have tonight to get all my stuff.
I'm sorry. It's too close though. If there's a possibility that, for example, if there's a possibility that the Jason Deerwold Christian Fan Club might want me to speak on the Friday night of the Jason is a great podcaster conference, I should have something ready to say. Even though they told me you're going to speak, you're going to be the keynote speaker on Saturday. But there's a possibility that they might want me to say something on Friday. Let me just have a little snippet ready. Let me have a little 10-minute whoop to the whoop ready on Friday. To me, planning, I don't want to use the term, but the poor planning prevents poor performance. And these people are not planning. They don't seem like they're planning and they're treating it serious. Again, Monica, if you were going, you're a legal professional. I doubt, and there's no way, I'd bet my whole beard that you would go in half cocked to talk to Johnny CEO man about a raise, and you haven't done any research on what other legal professionals make in your building, in your community, in your zip code, in your demographic. I'm sorry. They come in there like, I don't even know. Oh, which one we talk about? Oh, okay. Yeah, give me a second.
She
That's crazy.
allowed them to put the the picture in with the little red markings of how a person ran. I was like, what is this? But I'll see you on the back end because I gotta get out of here and I'll catch you
You
on
got
your
it, girl.
end.
You got it. See you in a minute. Take care.
That's it. I want to thank all of you for stopping by this morning for my little take on things. I'll be back another morning. I'll try to put a schedule up. It's very hard for me because I'll be having serious stuff at the office that I'll be doing on. And I only really want to focus on things that I think people could take away. Like if you come, some people can do this every day. I just feel like I want to come out and speak on things that I think are critical for critical thinkers. So I'll see you guys in the other chat because you know I love being over there. It's the best chat on the internet. What is it? It's the best chat on the planet. On the planet. Don't want jury to know he already been convicted. All right. So it's not that it. No one. So it's not just the state who doesn't want the jurors to know that he's been convicted of that crime already, right? It is a bad posturing for it's a bad position for the other defendants in the case because one, this jury right here, right? They're supposed to listen to the evidence and make their own determination of a person's guilt or innocence, right? If this jury comes out and says that Little Rob was not part of a RICO, it will not mean that Little Rod did not that he's not guilty of the other thing that he's not guilty of the untimely death of the other young man. But if they do come out and say, but the charge is only a RICO, they're not recharged, they're not re-litigating that case of what he did. All they're doing is showing that what he did in that case was in furtherance of the conspiracy, which is the RICO. So they have to show his network of whoever Little Rod's network was of YSL members, which I contend is not the people that he's on trial with currently. They should have saved him for when he's on trial with Blaylock and all the people that committed the thing that he's guilty of. But anyway, that's what we're stuck with for now. I will see you guys in a couple more days. If something more interesting comes up, I'll come back out here to speak. I'm still putting my video together about ineffective counsel because I still can't believe the whole thing with Montauk. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Today's broadcast was brought to you by the M and the O. Mo.